Gents, xcalizorz here, bringing you some from the desk of xcal, and today we're going to be talking about the Battlefield 6 open beta that just concluded yesterday. 2 free back-to-back weekends opened all, and your boy here had plenty of hours in it, so I've got a pretty good grasp of what the game is all about. And before we get into all that sort of fun stuff, the too long, didn't watch, didn't listen, get to the point review is I like it. I will be purchasing it, and I am looking forward to playing the game, playing a brand new casual shooter with the boys. It's been a hot minute since you've been able to say, well, since I've been able to say that. So they got me good. They got my money. So thank you very much for coming out. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time. Peace. But yeah, anyway, so moving along, I guess, you know, we'll just hit some hot topics here and there, hit the main points, and we'll get you out of here. So the first thing that we'll talk about is what I saw the most discourse about, and that is the open weapon system that they have here, as opposed to the closed weapon where, you know, snipers can only use DMRs, and sniper rifles and support typically gets LMGs. Assault gets assault rifles, and engineers get the SMGs, so on and so forth. Right? Open weapons, closed weapons, and personally, I don't really give a fuck. To be quite honest with you, I think the system works fine in this game. Even I'm not so much of a stickler for. But it was always like that since the old days. You can't be anti-10 the Car 98, you know. But yeah, I think it's a complete non-issue. Each of the classes in this game have weapons that they specialize in exactly the way that you would think. Recon has bonuses to sniper proficiency, support with LMGs, engineer with SMGs, and assaults for the assault rifles, of course. So I think it works out fine. And as far as I know, ever since at least Battlefield 4, there has always been all-purpose weapons that you can use, you know, which were typically classified as carbines, you know, like the Ace 21 or 34 or whatever it was called. I mean, there's always been weapons that have been open to every single class, whatever floats your boat. So I don't know why it's such a point of a contention this time around. But me personally, I'm not bothered or bugged at all. So I say, you know, all right, let's have ourselves a free for all and get on with it. It's fine for me, dog. So, moving on, I will say what I do have an issue with was the queue times and the lack of a server browser. I mean, this game has had a lot of attention as far as Twitch viewership numbers are concerned. I don't know all the official numbers and stuff, but it does seem like there's a fair bit of hype in this game, and I mean, I've never seen it quite like this for a Battlefield game since I've been doing YouTube and Twitch. So I mean, there were instances in the second weekend where I was, as a solo player, waiting almost 5 minutes to get into a game, and that is just unacceptable. I mean, I don't expect it to be rapid fire, instant. I mean, get me in there, coach. It's no, but I mean, some of the wait times over both weekends, for that matter, were quite heinous, I thought. And to top it all off, it gets even worse. With the lack of a server browser and having proper map rotation and all that, I mean, some nights you can just find yourself playing the same fucking thing over and over and over again. And so my group of guys, they played the previous nights when this was recorded, and they were telling me that they were almost getting about 70% of the time on this map, Brooklyn. And I mean, I didn't play as long as they did the next following night, but I mean, most of my matches were on this map as well. I mean, it could be luck of the draw. There's only 3 maps on Breakthrough. It's primarily what I've been playing. At 3, 4, whatever, but you know, it didn't get very much Siege of Cairo, and got a few Liberation Peaks here and there, but it was mostly sightseeing in Brooklyn, and I ain't about that life. I mean, look, I'll play schlop, but I don't want to play schlop just to play more schlop again. That's unacceptable, and I hope they have a solution for that, and I hope, you know, at the very least it's on their radar and they're looking into it so that you just don't find yourself playing the same map over and over and over and over again if there's not going to be a server browser. But I think this is one of the issues you're going to have when you don't have a server browser and, you know, custom servers that have, you know, map rotations and all that. I think that you're going to run into that issue. And another thing is I'm skeptical of shit of any matchmaking system in 2025. I mean, I see what they got here, and I'm inclined to believe that somewhere down the line they're going to try and sneak in some sort of engagement algorithm nonsense. And it's just give me a server browser, serverless, and let's call it a day. Is that so hard? It worked so well for so long. I don't know why we have to deviate from the plan there. But anyway, moving on. So another issue that I ran into was I think a lot of people are complaining with that the TTK is too fast, and I do agree with that to some extent. But I think it's for the reasons that most people aren't realizing. I think it's more of an issue with feedback that you receive on your end, where like sometimes, most of the times, like when you get shot, is it dead, instant. Like, you know, most of my gunfights when I'm shooting people, like I can count the bullets in real time. Like, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, he's gone. You know, move on to the next target. But like when you get shot, I mean, it's over. You barely have any time to react. For all 4 of you who played X Defiant, you may remember that was an issue in that game as well, with the lack of proper feedback, where it just felt like you were just dying instantly, like that, like hot knife through butter. It's you know, the only time I feel like I do that to other people is if I OCO them with a shotgun or a sniper rifle. So TTK is very quick, but I think it's a feedback issue mostly. So hopefully by release they can get that feeling a bit more responsive on the user's ends, and then we can worry about adjusting damage numbers and RPMs and all that sort of fun stuff. So another issue I ran into is the LMGs, specifically the first one. Like I used it a lot longer. I tried to make it work for a lot longer than my patience should allow for in 2025. I mean, there were just several instances of where I was just painting silhouettes on people, and it's not like, you know, these were absurd, like 100-meter plus shots that I was trying to make. I mean, these are reasonable, I would think, reasonable LMG distances where I don't understand where the bullet's going, and I didn't really experience anything to that degree with any of the other weapon classes, and I eventually figured out that I had more success at past a certain range just tap firing. But then at that point, it's just like, why am I not just using the SVK, which feels a million times better than the LMGs do? A lot more responsive, a lot more accurate. And it's... I mean, I think I was made aware, I was informed that, you know, I think there are issues with the bloom and whatnot, so hopefully, at least regarding the LMGs, they can get that sorted out, or I'll just not use LMGs and, you know, just two-tap people with the SVK and be on my merry way. So, next point, moving on. So, the Assault Medic Bag, or Support Bag. I am personally not a fan of it having both ammo and health. That seems a little too juiced. I mean, being able to have essentially infinite ammo and, you know, supply it to your squad and self-healing on top of that, I think they need to split the two up so that, you know, whatever they decide, either Assault can get the ammo or the medic, and then the support can get the sloppy seconds there. I think is what they should do. Go back to the old ways. And so, what else have we got here? So Rush, wasn't really a fan of how they implemented it so far. It just seems like they ran out of time and just cobbled some stuff together. I found the Rush experience to be way too claustrophobic. Like, I'm not opposed to smaller game modes, but I just think the way it seemed to me is that Rush in its current implementation is just not done very well, and if they want to do Rush 12v12, they need to make Rush-specific maps instead of just, you know, alright, well, we've got our 8 or 10 maps or whatever it is, and they're going to accommodate all 6 or 7 or however many game modes they plan on. And so, yeah, the way what their vision was, I think I can see it, but they need to just make Rush-specific maps and call it a day. I don't feel like that'd be too hard to do, but you know, I'm just an armchair gamer with the with the crappy opinions. So there it is. And also, so I did find myself playing pretty much extensively Breakthrough with a couple of palette cleansers in Conquest King's Battery. I think, for the most part, like I think what I've seen so far, most of it's okay. It's none of the maps are super impressive so far. There's nothing like Achibaba or Fort de Vaux or, you know, my gold standard Battle Axe for all of my 1942 OGs. Nothing close to that, and not even anything close to like a Pearl Market type, or even Propagandy from the BF4 DLC. But I will say, you know, with Breakthrough, there are a couple of points that just seem impossibly hard to take. The final point on Liberation Peak, I don't know, I think of the 3 dozen or so times that I played it, I maybe saw victory twice on the last point. Certainly lost on the last point, probably a little more than that, because that's John J. Streamer man's luck when it comes to things like that. But that point just seems impossibly hard to take unless you've just got a whole team of people who are willing to hit W. Another problem point, I think, is the 3rd sector B flag on Siege of Cairo, which, I mean, you don't really have many avenues to approach that flag unless you're just barreling smoke grenades across blanketing the street. And again, you know, unless you've got people willing to hold W with you, it seems like an uphill battle and needlessly hard. You know, I fancy myself, you know, I like to flank. I like to do a lot of flanking in Battlefield, and some points just ain't about that flank life, and that has always bugged me. And, like, some of these points just end up being so small that, like, how is it ever supposed to play well when you're condensing 48 players into such a small area? It just ends up into a stalemate clusterfuck, and I've never really been a fan of that sort of thing, so I think ideally in a perfect world, I guess I would like to see the points be a little bit larger instead of being on the smaller side, but I don't know. I think modern Battlefield has always sort of had this problem in my view, so it's probably here to stay, unfortunately. So he'll just have to learn how to deal with it. So the next thing I gotta bring up is the squad system, and at base, I have to say the squad system is probably my favorite mechanic in all of modern Battlefield. The ability to spawn on a couple of select teammates, being able to revive each other, regardless of what class you are, I think it's absolutely brilliant. Being able to work together, friendship, work towards goal, achieve goal, kick ass, get called a racial slur at the end of the match. I think it's fantastic. But unfortunately, that same squad system can also be used for evil. Allow me to explain. So, the last match I played on the beta was pretty much ruined because on the Siege of Cairo map, there's some goofy interactions with buildings that can be destroyed and deployable cover that allows you to get to the rooftops, which are normally inaccessible. And so, once you have one guy who's doing something like that, being where they shouldn't, then, you know, the squad mates are just looking for anywhere to spawn. I doubt they're, you know, well, let's see, who is this guy on the roof? Oh, he's on the rooftop, he knows how to do it. It's like, no. And then, before you know it, it's like you can't get up from the other side, probably, of course, and then you just end up in, or maybe even end up in an arms race of people trying to out-shyster the other shysters. And I don't really understand how this is still an issue in 2025. You know, a few previous cases that you're probably aware of, the infamous rock on Modern Warfare 2. Anyone who played the World at War beta may remember there was one of the sides was able to get under the map completely and completely lock down whole sections of the map they could shoot out, you couldn't shoot in. There was an issue with, I bet you weren't going to hear about this game today. I don't even remember what it's called. The Ubisoft game. The Division, yes, that's right, The Division, where you could, in the PvP zone, get inside of buildings that are supposed to be inaccessible with deployable cover. Go figure, there's a common thread here with this game. And you're able to get into inaccessible areas, shoot out, and you weren't able to get shot back at unless they somehow managed to sneak around you using the same techniques. So I have been floating around an idea that we need to implement the Mirko Krokop anti-shyster system, or Mirko's ass for short. And what that entails is first-time offenders, whether you're glitching, shystering, cheating, aim booting, wall hacking, all that sort of stuff, first-time offenders, they get the right leg. If you're found doing it a second time, you get the left leg. Now, if you don't know what any of that means, basically Mirko Krokop is an MMA legend from back in the day, and the joke was that if he kicked you in the head with the right leg, you only got sent to the hospital, and if you got kicked by the left leg, you got sent to the cemetery. Now, I think there's something to this. So, EA Dice, idea free of charge. Come on, let's make somebody's day here, huh? But more realistically, I think what they should do is I don't understand why. Well, at the very least, no game that I've played has ever done it. Is that areas that are supposed to be inaccessible should just be flagged as just instant death zones, or at the very least, you know, maybe they can bring that, you know, soldier, you are leaving the battle, deserters will be shot, right? So yeah, any area that you're not supposed to be in, I don't know why no one's been able to figure out why can't we just flag, you know, fields that are out of play as just instant death zones. I think that'd probably be better than Mirko's ass, but I'd also like to see the Mirko anti-shyster system. So, anyway, I think the last thing I want to bring up is this disturbing trend I'm noticing, at least with some of these modern shooters, is the main menu UI schlop. It looks like an overly convoluted mobile game, a shitty TV app. I don't know why it has to look like this, you know. You know, they say, you know, the reason why the saying is the wheel doesn't need to be reinvented is because it's already perfect. And the old school video game menus, they were perfect. Here, check this out. Take a look at this. Battlefield 1942. It came out 23 years ago, and this is what the menu looked like, and it is perfect. You got your single player. You want to mess around, explore the maps, work out some shyster strategies on Omaha Beach, there you go, done deal. We got multiplayer, we've got our server browser, we've got our filter settings, local area network, all this sort of fun stuff, easy to access, easy to find. We got controls, customization, video, sound settings. This is where your mods go, your Desert Combats of the world. Forgotten Hope, Eve of Destruction, intro, credits. I don't think anyone's ever clicked these in 23 years, and I ain't about to start. Custom profile. You get kicked from a server, well, guess what? Come back as Eminem huge fan, they'll never see it coming. And after all that, it gets even better. You can actually still play Battlefield 1942 in 2025 against actual people. Hey, Battle of the Bulge, what a map. What a map. Doesn't load as fast as you think it would in 2025, but at the same time, it is also a 23-year-old game. Yeah, see, look at that. 37 people out here. Couple of yappers. I don't know what the M10 is doing over here. Yep, and that is going exactly how I would expect it to. The M10 should be defending this bridge, and now they're about to get face-fucked by two Panzers and a Tiger tank. with the Vespa for good measure. And to top it off, the ultimate coup de grace. Listen to that menu music. Absolute perfection. So the last thing I'm going to bring up as we round out this video is the shotgun. It is, at least as far as the people I follow on Twitter, it was a huge point of contention. And I think at base, I'm not opposed to shotguns being powerful. I much prefer them to be strong than to be completely fucking useless. Though I will say, I think its implementation with the assault sling, which is if you didn't get to play the beta, basically the assault class gets something called an assault sling, where they get to bring in 2 primary weapons. Think Overkill from Call of Duty. And so while I'm not opposed to shotguns being powerful and being useful, what I do have an issue with is shotgun secondaries, and I have been very consistent on that fact. Go watch back some of the MW2 commentaries. Shotgun secondaries should not be a thing at all, ever. I think in general, 2 primary weapons is probably stupid to begin with anyway, so I wouldn't be sad to see the weapon sling, assault sling go the way of the dodo. It's a cute idea, but no, just no. I mean, do you really want these lethal snipers and DMRs to be having a shotgun that's that goddamn strong? No, we got to draw the line here, people. We just do. We don't need more shotguns. Leave the dude pumpers to the dude pumpers. None of this double primary nonsense. But anyway, that'll just about wrap it up from me. I think I've covered all the key points that I need to bring up. If I remember anything at the last second, yeah, well, read the comments, I guess. So, if you made it this far, listen to me yap for over 20 minutes here. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show, but your boy Bruce is out of here. So, have a good night, have a good morning, have a good evening. We out. Peace.